A certain young man from Nawaoo, in Kano West local government area, Enugu state, woke up one early morning and began to sharpen his cutlass on a stone. The young man continued to sharpen the cutlass on a stone until it was sharp enough to shave the human hair. And then the man walked up to his father and cut off his head. That man's name was called nawaoo. Nawaoo is a young man from Nawaoo, Enugu state in Kano West, that woke up one early morning and beheaded his father. And here's what happened. Nawaoo was once a native doctor in his life. And so in those olden days, a certain chief in Nawaoo invited Nawaoo to come and perform charm for him. Because when a man gets money, the next question becomes protection. And in the olden days, the perfect way men shield themselves is through charm. So this man, having heard about the prowess ability of this native doctor, his excellence in harnessing herbs for protection, invited Nawaoo from a different clan to come and perform charm for him. So the native doctor came and began to cook the medicine. These are medicine that were done in days. So the native doctor was supposed to sleep in the chief's house. But in the olden days, there is this ideology that when you use the head of a native doctor that prepares charm for you to put in the charm becomes everlasting. There is this instinct that if you use the head of the native doctor that performs charm for you to put in the charm becomes indestructible. The charm becomes everlasting, durable. So on this night, while the native doctor was sleeping, after performing the charm, the chief came into the room and killed the native doctor. The chief killed native doctor so that nobody can be able to destroy the medicine the man did for him. And then carried his bag, his divination bag, and hung in his room. Nobody knew what happened. After all, the native doctor came from a different clan. But as years goes by, the chief continued to reproduce children. In those days, a man, even at age 60, 70, is still giving birth. A man is still marrying a wife at age 60-something, 70 years. So the man continued to give birth. And then he gave birth to a young boy. And the boy continued to grow full of strength and energy. But in a particular morning, the energy of the previous life of the young man came upon him. And this young man went inside his room, picked up a cutlass, went through a stone, sat down and began to sharpen the cutlass on a stone. And as he was sharpening the cutlass, he was twisting it before the sun until it was able to reflect sunlight. He was sharpening the cutlass until the cutlass was sharpened. Sharpening the cutlass, he was twisting it before the sun until it was able to reflect sunlight. He was sharpening the cutlass until the cutlass was sharp enough to shave even a human hair. The young boy walked up to his father and says, "Give me my divination bag." At that point, he dawned on the chief that this young boy I gave birth to was the same chief priest I killed in his previous life. The young man entered his room and brought out the divination bag of the young boy and gave it to the small boy. And the young boy picked the cutlass and cut off this man's head. I'm not telling you a fiction story. I mentioned his name, Nawaoo. I mentioned his village, Nawaoo. I mentioned his local government in Kano West. I mentioned his state, Enugu state, so you can go and verify. Because the man's children is still alive till today. The message I'm trying to pass this afternoon is the principle of reincarnation. The principle of reincarnation. It's important for us to realize that men don't die. Man is energy that is on a process of continual living. The only thing that happens that we call death is process of energy renewal. That this particular flesh I'm carrying has become weak. It can no longer carry the energy in me. So what this flesh does is that it goes beneath the ground. It dies and is buried. So the energy in me can find a new flesh and come back again. Follow me carefully. There is a young man in Nigeria acting film called Zubby. If you look at the face of Zubby, you will see a kind of a mark, black mark in front of his face. And if you watch his interviews, you will discover that mark on his face was not given to him by sustaining injury. No, sir. He was born with it. It was a man in the previous life where he was coming from that sustained that injury. And so as Zubby Michael was born, the injury the young boy was carrying on his face already explained who the young man is. So the lineage of the man didn't die. What the man did was to change flesh and come back again. In the days that we give birth to people we called Obanje was ignorance of sickle cell. The elders will come and carry the child and mutilate one of his fingers. They will cut off one of his fingers. You discover they give birth to another child, and the child will have 4 fingers. The fingers is not complete. Why? Because children don't die. Man don't die. Man only drop this flesh to find another flesh to come back. This is the reason why many young boys today are struggling, because they have felt the job of self-realization. If you understand the principle of reincarnation, the first question becomes self-realization. Who I am.
Please subscribe now. You don't watch the video. Please subscribe now. Share them for me.